And it used to be, website, word of mouth, television, whatever it might be. And now social media is a huge box that people are checking.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creative Haven. I'm here with Trey and Matt from MontaVega Media, and I am super excited for today because we're going to get into the world of creativity and creative marketing, advertising, and all the beautiful stuff that brands and companies need to grow online and in general. But before I get into that, Matt, I'd love for you to actually talk more about your background and how you got to where you are today.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for having us. This is a great opportunity, and we're really blessed and fortunate. Thank you for having us.
Of course.
So my name is Matt. I run operations at MontaVega Media. I have a business background, but I love doing video production. I love the creative side, and honestly, every day is a new adventure.
Hell yeah. So when you were getting into video production, what got you into it? Were you a fan of music videos, TV shows, or films?
Oh boy, probably films at the top.
Okay.
But music has definitely become a big part of that. We've
Nice.
worked with a lot of artists here in Austin, and honestly, it's a great spot for music.
Nice. Now, so do you feel that here in Austin, all the creativity, it really helps you create the culture and the atmosphere in your company, being surrounded by so much creativity?
Absolutely. I think there are so many artists here, and a lot of there's so many good artists here that a lot of time they're not getting seen as often. And we love
Mm-hmm.
working with, we love going to, performances where maybe not all the artists are getting paid, but we'll go there, we'll do videos, we'll say, hey, here you go, put this on your social media. There was one event we did before COVID. It was called Come and Take It Live, and it was in South Austin. It was just so much fun. A lot of these performers, they got up there, they said, I'm not even getting paid for this, I'm just here. And we love doing stuff like that. There's so many talented artists here.
That's awesome. I think that people don't understand how powerful video is, especially these days, and how artists, especially the ones who are doing things for free, can actually benefit from some content. And so, kudos to you for offering that. Now, was there like a specific concert or artist that you saw that you felt like, hey, you know what, they deserve a video to help them grow their brand?
Yeah, I can't say that this was an artist who was unknown. Her name is Sammy Serrano.
Okay.
She is absolutely the most talented artist that I've worked with personally. I don't want to speak for anybody else in the company, but she is awesome. Just little plug. She is incredibly talented. She's worked with Katie Rain. She's played at ACL, South by. She's awesome. So yeah, go check her out. She's really talented, but she's been all over. She's pretty well known here, and that was a great opportunity for us.
That's amazing. Now, what is it about music and video do you feel like is a great combination, and especially for artists these days in this new digital age?
I think so many different forms of media are visual, so I think they're really not separated as much. I think they kind of work in tandem, and just social media. We're becoming more and more visual, so I think it helps to pair music with that visual aspect.
Nice. And so is that kind of how Vega Media came together, was from offering, videos to artists that you respected and then grew from there? Or what was the impetus? What was the start?
The start was not as glamorous as the coming up, I guess. The start was pretty traditional, kind of interview style, testimonial, and right away, and we were having success, but right away we were saying, this isn't what we want to be doing. We want to be creative. We want to be working with creative people,
Mm.
and people who are in that industry, whether it's music or video itself. So that come up, we were working at a recording studio. We were there 2 or 3 times a week, just picking the brains of different artists and saying, hey, what are you working on? What's your thinking? And a lot of times these artists were like just super excited to talk to somebody or get something down in video.
Yeah, I mean, there were some times when I was in the YouTube space, I used to create a lot of videos in the YouTube space, and to be surrounded by YouTubers with the editing suites on next to each other, with people in the sound stages, and everyone editing and working and conversing together, it really created much more of an inspiring environment that actually led to a lot of amazing collaborations and videos. And so I think artists and creatives, they like to bounce ideas off of each other, but also feel like someone's part of their struggle. Being a creative is tough if you don't know how to market yourself or sell yourself. And at the same time, sometimes creatives, they just want to create. It's the artist mindset. I'm an artist, and that's all I want to do is create art. And so, with that said, what is your conversation with other artists and creatives when it comes to marketing and videos, and like why it's important for them to have something like that?
That's a great question. I think every artist is different. Some artists are at different stages of their career, both musically and media wise. Some artists we talked to, they had a clear plan. They had social media managers. They said, hey, here's what we're looking for. Here's what I'm looking for. And other people, not so much. And both are fun to work with. I guess those who are a little bit more underdeveloped are a little bit more fun to work with, just because it's almost like a blank canvas. And then you kind of feel like you're in it together a little bit, how you were talking about, the struggles, working through things. And I think that's a little bit more enjoyable, but can also be more stressful at times.
That's right. And do you feel when you're talking to an artist and then you're talking to a brand or a company that it's a different conversation? Like, how does that usually work out when one day you're talking to a music artist and then the next call after that, you're talking to I don't know, a real estate company or a brand that wants you to create their social media campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you probably know what that's like.
Yeah.
A little bit more corporate and your attire is different. You feel different. But we've met some great people on that side too, on the real estate or corporate side.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a little bit more relaxed with the creatives and typically more fun.
Yeah. Do you ever have moments where you bring in the creatives from, like, let's say, the music world and collaborate on a corporate video, so that you're bringing in the creative side and the artists that need work, and then you have the corporate people who get a cool creative artist that they had never heard before?
Definitely. Honestly, I wish we did that more often. I think that's usually an easy sell on the creative side.
Right.
The
That's right.
corporate side, they're a little bit more hesitant at times. But you know what? Austin is such a great area, and there's a lot of open minds here to collaborate with different types of people. But yeah, that's so much fun when we get that chance.
That's amazing. And what is your pitch to companies? When you are talking to brands and companies and businesses about the power of creative, what is it about creative that they're missing? And how are you bringing it to their company so that they can access that to help them grow?
I think developing a relationship is the first step. And I think once there's a little bit of trust there, then we can really start to branch out. But that trust takes time, and it's pretty difficult nowadays with Zoom and not as many face-to-face meetings. But I think the first step is creating a relationship, and then asking them, what are you looking for? What are your goals? And then on our side, maybe not expressing it, but we collaborating together, saying, how can we exceed these goals? And what can we do to impress the client? Because there are times that the client will say, this is exactly what we want. We're not looking for anything else. And we go, okay, we understand the mission. And there are other times where clients go, hey, this is the kind of style we're looking for, but we're open to other ideas. And that's when we really enjoy pitching different ideas, and we get to bring in different creative people who can help with that process.
Yeah. So tell me more about that process. It's great that we actually met, because that's the process that some people leave on the client. Because if you're a production company, especially in commercial production, it's usually the client would have their own creative agency or their in-house creative CMO or whatnot, come up with the creative brief or the ideas, and then hand it off to a production company to execute. So what is a process for you on when you talk to a client of coming up with an idea? Do you go online and search their target audience, their demographic of what they're looking at? Or do you go on Vivo and just go into the music video black hole and get some inspiration? So what's your process?
We like to draw as much from the client as they're willing to give us. And we like to show them some examples that we've done in the past of our own work. So in the beginning, that was pretty difficult because we didn't have as many projects that were as similar to the types of clients we were working with. So in that sense, I think we would say, is there anything in particular that you've seen, how you're talking the Viva, or, going to different, examples that might have been done by others. But what we like to do now is we say, okay, we get an industrial type of client. Okay, well, here's some industrial types of videos we've done in the past. Is this something you're looking for? And then we like to pivot off that. So I think going off examples and then picking what we like and picking what we don't like and going from there is the best way to get that ball rolling.
That's right. And do you have any, whenever you have that pushback from a client, right, that says, hey, I just want a video, man. I just want a video to sell this product. I don't want any confetti and, unicorns and helicopters. Okay. I just want something straightforward. How are you able to, give someone what they want, but also throw in, hey, that conversation of like, you maybe need something a little bit more creative?
I think maybe we shouldn't do this as often, but we will give them exactly what they're looking for, just down to the frame. And then we'll say, hey, by the way, we were also working on this, and give them something just for free, just, hey, there's no charges. And a lot of times they go, okay, we're not interested. But those few times where they go, oh, wow, I am missing this, or this could be a good piece that we could add to our creative. That's awesome for us, as well as our designers, because that takes time on their end, that they don't know if the client's they're gonna receive it well, so that's a good feeling when the client is receptive to something we're trying to pitch them.
Yeah, that's right. And you actually bring up a really good point about working with new clients from new industries and new verticals, and not having the examples to show them so that they can trust you, and you have that reel in that portfolio as you were getting coming up. And this is going out to a lot of the people out there who want to start their own businesses or have their own production companies. What is the process for you when you were going through that stage? Like you said, you asked the client, hey, what are some reference videos? But did you also do specs? Like, have you done spec work, or have you done anything before to help build that portfolio so that someone in another vertical can trust you?
We did, yeah. A couple specific examples. I remember one client, we were trying to pitch them, and they were very honest, and they said, listen, we just don't have the budget right now to do anything that creative or that exciting. And we reviewed it internally, and we said, we can get this done for free. We like the client, and it'll be a great example that we can put on our website, and we can put in our reel. And it couldn't have been a better experience. It really, wasn't that costly or anything like that. And the video turned out great. The client was happy, and we were happy just because we were doing something. We were getting work in when we probably wouldn't have been utilizing the hours in that day to be creative. So it doesn't just help the client who's getting something for free. It helps us. It helps our, camera operators and our boom operators and our designers in the editing room. It's just a win-win for everyone. And that was hugely important for us for developing our reel and getting more examples.
That's awesome. I remember doing those days too. There was a lot of spec work. I just talked to a filmmaker and a commercial director before this, and he's doing some spec work. He just got the robotic arm that you can put a camera on and do all those moves. And so it's consistently doing work outside of paid work that shows your full creativity so that people can see what you're capable of. And more and more I've talked to production companies and filmmakers and directors. Spec work is great. It's important, and also helps you kind of sharpen your sword whenever you need to change your inspiration. Whenever you're looking at corporate videos, sometimes you're just watching ads all day. Sometimes you just want to create a weird, crazy video that you can throw After Effects on. And so for you, do you feel that when you are talking to companies and you're trying to pitch to them like a purely business person, and I always ask this question, like, how do you convince someone that creativity is very important for a business and important for a business to invest in?
Yeah, that's a hurdle sometimes. And a lot of times it's somebody on their side that is like really pushing for it, and then maybe somebody higher up is against it. And that's a struggle, because you never want to feel like you're forcing something. You don't want to feel like you're pushing too hard on a client. But once again, I think developing the relationship and saying, listen, here's what we can do. It's an open dialogue. And we've had some clients that say, we're not interested right now. And they've come back after a year or longer at times, and they go, hey, I think we are ready now, because they either see a competitor's doing it, or they've had a change of heart, or whatever that reason may be. But I don't think trying to force it is ever the right way to go about it. And I don't want to pin two employees against each other, or a subordinate and a supervisor against each other. I never want to do that. So yeah, I think just having an open dialogue is the best way to go about it.
That's right. And I think that a lot of people at the end of the day, when they are given these options and they are getting consulted, like someone with you who has the expertise, they start opening up a little bit more. And especially nowadays, when people see the amount of content and videos that are out there, especially from their competitors, they know that they have to use video content as part of their sales and marketing and advertising plan, because it's the only way you're going to stay relevant and be part of the conversation. And so now, we are now transitioning into 2021, and you're seeing all these different types of video distribution platforms. How do you feel about the new trends? Like, now that we've coming out of 2020, we know about Zoom, we know about TikTok, and there's of course OTT, and people aren't going to theaters. Like, what are the trends that you're seeing when it comes to video distribution and video marketing?
I think there's always going to be pros and cons on both sides, but I think as a whole, there are more pros. There are more people with more access to creative, which I think is a good thing. And there are different mediums, so people can see it in different spaces, but they also can. For us, we can also distribute it in multiple ways. So whether that meaning like actual technical specs on video formats, or whether it like different effects that we can use, or things that might look better in a story, or things that might look better in wide. So I think it's a great thing. I'm really excited about it. We have a couple clients who are TikTok clients.
Yes.
Which I did 3 years ago, I would have never thought that would have happened. But
Wow.
that's a lot of fun, and that's another one of those where we get to be creative and we get to be a little more silly rather than the corporate videos.
You gotta love how TikTok just snatched up the Snapchat market and just made everyone just transfer over to vertical on TikTok. And so let's talk about TikTok. And I think a lot of the listeners out there will probably be curious of how TikTok is being used to grow companies and, I don't know, increase sales and conversions. And so what is your pitch to clients, or the people that you're working with right now with TikTok? What have you seen has been the advantage of using TikTok?
I think TikTok's algorithm is probably the best I've ever seen.
Hmm.
As far as getting it in front of people, it's really quite amazing. We post a video because we have different times we like to post and kind of split test videos, and we'll post something 7 o'clock at night. We'll wake up in the morning and it's got tens of thousands of views. When it's just amazing, the ability to get it in front of people's faces. And then they're going to different forms. They're clicking on profiles and going to websites, and traffic is increasing all across the board. And I don't think there's any other social media platform that is directly increasing traffic of others.
Wow.
I think TikTok is the best at that, because we get a client that we're doing their TikTok, their Instagram traffic's going up, their Facebook traffic's going up, and then their website traffic is going up. And I haven't seen that any other way, or with any other form of social media. So I think it's really powerful.
Nice. And then during these campaigns, do you use specific links to track the conversions? And do you have, like you said, you A/B test? Like, what is kind of your process in creating a TikTok campaign so that clients can see, all right, you know what, this is valuable. I'm seeing an uptick in conversions or signups on my newsletter.
Right. So what we really try and promote is all of our clients, when they get a prospective client, how did you hear about us? Which way did it go through? And it used to be, website, word of mouth, television, whatever it might be. And now social media is a huge box that people are checking. And from there, we're going, okay, do you remember which social media form you found us through? Because a lot of our clients, they're on 3 or 4 or 5 different forms of social media. And a lot of times clients go, I don't remember, it was one of those. But looking at trends, because a lot of clients we get, they're not coming from previous agencies that were running their TikTok. A lot of them are
Yeah.
blank slate. Some of them we created their TikTok. But when we see the Instagram traffic increasing, or the likes or the followers, same with the Facebook and the website, we go, well, hey, this is when we started to see that trend. We'll give detailed reports and stuff like that. And also Google Analytics is hugely valuable for us and our clients. But yeah, that's really powerful.
It's amazing. And so when you would say to someone like the tips of TikTok right now, if you can give some tips to a client out there or someone who is curious about using TikTok for marketing, what would be like your top 3?
Okay, I can give you top 3. I'll give you the top 1.
Okay.
Is that I'll definitely give you this one. So
Yeah.
this we found out, and it was hugely valuable. If you include a song, so TikTok songs, obviously there's a different one popping off every day, it seems like, but pick some of the most popular songs, run it at a very low decibel, but in the video, so that video is hooked to that song. It's connected. So that once you're looking at songs, and then all of a sudden this video is popping up because you were looking for that song, whatever song it might be. Oh no, on TikTok, you leave that in the background of some clients' videos, or whatever it might be, then that's going to be linked, and that just gets in front of more people. Hashtags are obviously incredibly important. That would probably be third. Number 2 would be TikTok users are typically on later at night, just because of the demographic. So we encourage posting at night. So that's 6 to 7 to 8 o'clock, that after dinner time. There's a lot of times, no matter what the client might be promoting, you might say, okay, well, my demographics typically on social media earlier in the day, but the demographic that's on TikTok is a lot more active at night. So I'd say those would be the 3. Put a song in there, make sure you post at night, and then hashtags.
Oh, those are great tips. I love how you just said it's at night. I remember back in the day, it was always midday, 12 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock afterwards, or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. And it's just changing ever so much right now. And sometimes people get social media burnout. I mean, we have Clubhouse out now, and people are jumping on the Clubhouse bandwagon. You have Discord, you've got Twitch, and it's one of those. It's like a decision paralysis right now when it comes to social media. And when you do talk to a client who says, I want to be on every single platform, I want to be on Clubhouse and TikTok and LinkedIn and Pinterest, what do you say to them? I mean, do you tell them, hey, you got to target where your audience is? Or is it, hey, you need to be on every single platform just so that people know you exist?
I think that's really ambitious to go to every single platform right away. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying it isn't being done. It is. But I think starting from scratch, that's a little difficult to do. So if we were meeting with a client who said, I don't have anything, I have a lot of funding, and I'm putting a lot in advertising, where should we go? I think we should, then you, like you said, you identify the audience. Okay, where are we going to specifically target them? How are we going to target them? And then from there we would pick the social media platforms.
Nice. And then for you as a creative, when you're going back and forth from platforms and also back and forth from verticals, how are you able to make sure that your creative stays true to that specific vertical and that style? And how do you switch that hat? Like you go from music videos and then go into pharma and then go into food.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I'm going to give a lot of credit to our team, to our account managers and executives. They do a fantastic job. We've yet to have somebody that no one has come to me and said, hey, this account manager really wasn't meeting my needs. And they handle a lot of that, but it is difficult to go from corporate to a more creative type of video or whatever it may be. But I think that if you have a solid team that can help you manage all of your different clients and all of those different needs and verticals like you were talking about, I think that's hugely valuable and probably the secret to success.
Nice. And speaking to a lot of the entrepreneurs out there who have teams or want to build and scale their teams, what have you found when you're creating a team and building a team and to keep them interested and creative and whatnot when it comes to account management? Because with account management, you had to put a lot of trust in someone. You had to put a lot of trust in someone that they won't ruin the relationship. And so what have you found as, someone who's running a business, the best ways to kind of motivate a team or inspire a team or just keep a team productive, effective, and also excited?
Yeah, boy, that's a great question. Maybe the most important question. I would say that find people who challenge you,
Mhm.
and who aren't just going to be yes people. That's probably pretty well known. But find people who are going to challenge you, and find people who make up for the ways that you don't. And also look for people who you can help.
Mhm.
You don't want to be just one. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room,
Yeah.
but you also want to look at the smartest person in the room and say, how can I help them? How can I get them on my team? And how can I help improve them and help their creative be better or their business be better or whatever it may be. But yeah, I have a business partner. In every way that I lack, he makes up for 10 times. He's outstanding. I wouldn't be here without him. I'll give him a little plug. His name's Nick. And, he helps me in different areas and I help him in different areas. And I think that was the biggest key to success for us.
That's great advice. Working with team members and my own employees and keeping everyone on the same boat, it really is important to really just know who your team is and actually be surrounded by people who are smarter than you. You can't be the person that takes control of accounting and HR and sales and marketing. It really is about finding people who excel in those fields and making sure that they know that you're there to support and you're not trying to be their boss and tell them what to do. And with all of this, like you're running a business, you're doing creative, you're also account managing every once in a while. How's it with your own company? If you have your MontaVega and like you're telling other companies how to be creative and how to market yourselves. And I always tell agency and production company owners about this. How do you apply that to your own company? And what are the challenges that you found just taking your own advice?
Yeah, I find it a lot easier to kind of tell somebody, well, this is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And then introspectively say, well, are we even doing that ourselves? Are we doing it to the degree that we're, preaching it or pitching it? So yeah, it is difficult. And I think having people around you who can kind of put you in check and say, hey, we should probably be doing this, or we should be doing this more often, or be doing this less often. And I think encouraging the dialogue and the discussion between team members is really important, especially going from peers to to employees, or rather bosses to subordinates, however you might want to say it. I think that dialogue is hugely important, and that you don't want to suppress ideas or make people fearful of, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this because they might not take it well. So I think that's hugely important, and that helps us because I don't have all the answers. I'm not sure anybody does, but there is somebody out there who might have a right answer to the problem you're facing, and
That's
hopefully that's someone in your organization.
That's a really good answer. And it comes down again for how you form your team. And when you are dealing with the business side of things and you have to come up with, of course, the creative, do you find you have a certain thing that you do to get in your flow, or when you're in a creative rut, like you realize you got to get a pitch done or a proposal done in the next hour and you need to get into that zone? What do? Do you exercise, do a couple push-ups, you walk outside, listen to some music, watch an ad? How do you get into your flow state?
Yeah, samples are good. Definitely, that can definitely help with inspiration. But I think getting as many people in the room, getting as many voices heard, is the best way to do it. Just, hey, Trey, what are you thinking? Nick, what are you thinking? Rick, what do you think? Just getting those different ideas out there and giving everybody a split second to talk, and then moving on to the next person is really important, because when you're not talking, you're like, what am I thinking? Or maybe you get done saying something and go, oh, that's another idea I have. Or bouncing ideas off of one another, and then that might help. Trey says something that triggers something in my mind. I go, oh, that's a good idea, but we could do it like this. So I think as many ideas in the room, and sometimes I can get chaotic. I will say, like sometimes, but like you're talking, if we're in a rut, if we're struggling for ideas, or we're wanting to break away from the mold, I think that's a great way to do it.
Nice. Well, Matt, this has been a really great conversation. It's really helped me kind of think about TikTok, and I'm gonna have to fire up the good old TikTok after this and do a couple dances with the decibels low and give some advice, and hopefully that traffic goes towards my funnel. But before we go, I'd love for you to tell some advice for a lot of the companies out there and the brands out there who want to get into creative. They want to do something creative for their social media or for their marketing or for the ads, but they don't have access to it. Like, how can they do it in-house? How can they come up with those ideas so that they could help their in-house team build a creative campaign?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think there's a lot of people in this creative space that are excited to share ideas, and I think the old way of doing business, where hey, we have this information, we're gonna hold on to this. The freedom to exchange information nowadays is hugely important. I would say go watch people that you're inspired by, or go talk to people who are interested in what you're interested in. We've talked to a lot of people who are a lot smarter than us, that we have learned just so much information from. And I think we've been able to pass along some of that information too. And people are just so willing to talk. And this is such a great area to be able to have that exchange of ideas. So that's what I would say, just go talk to other people who are interested in the same thing that you are.
Love it. Matt, really, it was a pleasure talking to you today. It was really cool to just converse and talk about creativity and building brands and marketing and TikTok and all of that. And you've inspired me. So thank you so much. And, before we go, where can we find you online and how can we support?
First of all, thank you again for having me and for having us. This was hugely invaluable. And this was a great conversation. I enjoyed doing this. Thank you again. We're MontaVega Media. Just a little background. Nick is from Montana, and I was born in Las Vegas. So we put that together. That's MontaVega. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We're everywhere. And just anything you can help support us by supporting our clients. We love reposting stuff on our stories. Just anytime you see something like that, some bar we're working with, or some artist we're working with, or even some corporate stuff, just give them a like, give them a comment. We really appreciate that, because when our clients are happy, we're happy.
Nice. Well, Matt, thank you. It was a pleasure. I'll see you around, maybe in Austin. I think we're in the same industry. So if anything, like, good luck with everything. And yeah, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. I really appreciate this.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Haven podcast. And if you dig it and like what you heard today, please give us a nice review and rating and share it with one of your friends that you think needs some creative inspiration. You can always find more content and resources at thecreativehaven.com, and hit me up on Instagram at Mitchel Dumlao. And if you want to reach out, collab, or ask any questions, you have my permission to slide into my DMs. So keep positive, continue to learn and hone your craft, and create all day. Salamat.